Morning, beauty and barber professionals. Good morning, and happy New Year. Happy New Year, Danielle.
Happy New Year.
Girl, can you believe it's 2021? Enough of 2020, right? We had enough of 2020. It is 2021. Can you hear me, Danielle? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did we lose Danielle? Danielle. Oh gosh, y'all, we lost Danielle. Danielle, if you can hear us, can you hear us, Danielle?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we lost you for a second there.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Let me see.
Uh-oh. Y'all, we've been having technical difficulties all morning, but
Okay,
this
there we go.
this broadcast this morning is going to feature Mr. Al Gibbs of Al Gibbs and Associates. He is an accountant. He's actually my personal accountant. Um, he's been my accountant for many, many years. And we were having a conversation about PPP because I didn't know what the law said about the payroll protection program, PPP. And I wanted to get more information just from my own business purposes. And he gave me information that was beyond what I even imagined. So I was like, I don't believe my industry even knows this. So this morning, I have invited Mr. Al Gibbs. He'll be with us in just a few minutes. But Danielle and I, good morning, Danielle. Can you hear me now?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can.
What was going on, girl? We don't need that this morning.
I'm telling you, I know. You know what? The internet is just doing its own thing lately. I guess because
Yes.
it's
You
so
know
much
what?
traffic now and heavy usage, so slowing things down.
Yes. And that was what was going on this morning as I was trying to get this broadcast started for us. Yeah, total internet failure on many levels. So yeah, welcome to 2021, Danielle. How you feeling? How you doing? What's going on?
You know what? I'm just actually, it's February 1st, so it's my birthday month. So I'm just excited for, yes, a new year, a new season. And I think that, after, if you survive 2020, then you are just, you are ready for anything. I think people had to really, just refocus, refigure some things out, reevaluate, recalculate, and just 2021 is just a new opportunity to just really move those visions forward, those new goals, new opportunities, and just really set that bar high.
And yeah, you wrote a book, girl. Tell us all about it. And I'm going to tell you about our book for the organization, but tell us about that book you wrote.
Awesome. Well, it's called 7 Steps to Success, and it's pretty much for beauty professionals, but I believe any profession could actually read it and really benefit from it. But I used 7 steps that I thought was very beneficial to helping you to just kind of really jumpstart your career in the beauty industry and just really start to create that foundation so that way you can just really work your way towards success. Because a lot of times, whether you are newly graduated from beauty school or you've been in the industry for a few years, sometimes you can just feel really alone and just don't really have a full understanding of what it takes to get to the next level. And it's easy, to see someone on YouTube or social media and they seem like this celebrity stylist, but it did not happen overnight for a lot of people. So my book is just to really help to encourage, just really just challenge you to take your business and your opportunities to the next level. And I have a new book that I'm about to release, which is
Going over two girls. So you're going over
yes, sister,
two.
yes. I figure since we're on the subject, I have another book that I wrote, which I think is really helpful in this season because it's survival tips on working alone in your own salon. Or suite. And I think that now with COVID, a lot of stylists, or even barbers have left the open salon and they've gone into more of a suite or hair studio setting. And so I just wanted to share some of the survival tips that I was able to use to really avoid those roadblocks that can just cripple your business or even close the doors. So that'll be released very, very soon. I'm super
Oh,
excited.
look at you. Look at you. You know that they say once you start writing, you can't stop. I get it because I'm this was my second book as well. This one is specific to the beauty and barber industry. It's the guide to thrive and survive. Health, safety, and longevity in salons and barbershops. A quick, easy read in this COVID season. How do we actually manage and maintain and get through this all? Great tips in this book. So Danielle, I'm excited that you're on number 2. I'm excited.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm excited for your book as well, because, like I said, you never, we can look at obstacles and, it can be very overwhelming. But I think what it does is it just really applies so much pressure that makes you kind of really step outside your comfort zone and tap into some other gifts that you've kind of even forgot about. So I'm excited for both of us.
Yes. I see our tax man is here with some great information. Let's get him on the screen. Good morning, sir.
Great morning. My apologies on my.
Can we hear you? Look, he maneuvering. We don't hear you now, sir. Can you hear us?
Hold on, I can hear you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Make sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Just adjust the camera so we don't cut your head off.
All right, give me just a second.
Yeah.
Give me just a second.
He's coming, y'all. This is Al Gibbs, everybody.
Give me just a second.
There he is.
All right.
Are you back in town? He was out of town for a little while. You back in town?
Back at it, Tamara.
Awesome. I have Miss Danielle Slade. She is a member of the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals and Politics Beauty and Barber. She is joining me to learn more so that we can share more with our industry. I was telling everybody that I was having a conversation with you. You've been my personal contact for many, many years. And you and I were having a conversation about this PPP program. And I shared with Danielle that many independent contractors, and particularly my industry, we don't know how this new PPP program actually works. We have no clue. And you gave me some nuggets, and I was like, Al, you got to go live with me so we can share this with we're on YouTube and we're on our Facebook page over that's specific to the beauty and barber industry.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's and I really appreciate that. The conversation, like you said, it was definitely happenstance, and and you really surprised me when you mentioned that, Al, like, hey, I don't think a lot of people know about this. And so, that's been our mission since this, this governmental, I'll say, money, SBA money has been coming down the pipeline. We've just been making it our mission to make sure that, a lot of the small business owners that are under our reach know about it and can get access to the capital. So
tell us what we don't know, because my question was to you as a small business owner, what if I don't have any employees? How? And that was my initial question, and then that question actually just kept going, and I was like, oh my gosh. So most salons and barbershops are independent contractors. They are, solopreneurs.
Yep.
They don't have a staff. They may have somebody that comes in and they might pay a little person here and there. But, they don't really necessarily have the traditional business model of employees. And with that first round of PPP monies out, that money was swallowed up by bigger companies that had, major employees, and left the rest of us kind of out in the cold. So what is this round of PPEs? How does this round actually work?
Yeah, so it's funny.
PPP.
PPP, yeah. And so the PPP stands for Paycheck Protection Program, right? And so it works the exact same way that it did the first time around. So what I'll do is I like to break it down granular, just so everybody can kind of say, okay, well, hey, I fit this, because I think a lot of people, like you mentioned, Tamara, like a lot of business owners was like, hey, I don't have an employee, so it's kind of like I turn my hearing off to it. I don't even hear any more about it now, because I a lot of small business owners, or like you said, just like solopreneurs, just felt that, okay, well, if I don't have employees, then I'm just kind of out. But you are the employee. You know what I'm saying? You are the employer and the employee as it relates to the PPP. So that's the most exciting thing. So what I'll do is I'll take a barber, for example, and he don't even have an LLC. One of our clients, you don't have an LLC. You don't really need to. He cuts hair. He's been doing it for a while, and he received the PPP. So the basic qualifications is if you're filing your tax returns, right? If you're reporting your income, you're deducting your booth rent, you're deducting your supplies, you're deducting your expenses or what have you, your net income. So here's the key though, guys. The key is the net income on the Schedule C, right? And I know I'll say pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID, our tax returns, we want to make sure that we write off everything that we can on the Schedule C, which, legally you can do that, right? So what that does, it drives down your taxable income. And so what it does, it either take your net income, it either takes it negative or it leaves it very small. So that way either you're getting a refund or you don't owe as much tax. So I get it. Now, we'll fast forward into the COVID environment to where now you actually have to show income to access these funds, right? It's almost like when you're a business owner and you're trying to get approved for a mortgage, and so it's like, I'll give a numerical example. Let's just say you have a solo entrepreneur. Oh, Tamara, you still there?
Yeah, we're here. We can
Okay.
hear you now. We couldn't hear you for a second.
Got you. Sorry. Yeah. So let's just say we have a solopreneur that made $100,000 for the year. All right. Let's just say, for numbers' sake, they had $30,000 worth of expenses: booth rent, supplies, marketing, advertising, telephone. All of those expenditures added up to $30,000. We subtract $30,000 from the $100,000 worth of income, right? So that leaves us with a $70,000 net income. All right. Now, typically the $70,000, that's the number that we're going to pay tax on, right? Nobody, and that'll be a nice little tax bill. Now, and that's also the same number that the PPP funding is going to say, okay, well, hey, you made 70 grand. So we're going to loan you money based upon the 70 grand. Right now. So as that, and the more that number is, the higher, I'll say, the higher that number is. So if that number, and it'll cap out at 100,000 as far as the PPP is concerned. All right. And I hope I didn't lose you. So let's just say if a person made 200,000, which a lot of entrepreneurs do, they made 200,000. Let's just say they had $100,000 worth of expenses. So their net income is 100,000, right? So the PPP, if you don't have employees, it does cap out at you making 100,000. Okay. So that maximum PPP loan is like $20,833 that you'll get if your net income is 100,000. All right. So now you got to go figure, if your net income is south of 100,000, let's just go back down to 70,000. Then of course your PPP loan amount is going to be a little bit lower. You may be around 16 grand or so as far as the PPP loan is concerned, right? Now, and as that number goes lower, right, then the lower your PPP funding amount is. So let's just say you had a net income of $5,000, right? Then you're going to get funded on $5 grand. So, but either way though, even if your net income was $5 grand, still apply. You know what I mean? Because I won't say, and I can't legally say it's free money, because when you do get the PPP, it is considered a loan. However, if you use the PPP for its purposes, and that's to pay yourself, because payroll is the biggest part. 60% of that money has to be used to pay you. So how cool is that? We're getting money to pay us, right? And so 60%, you have to use it to pay yourself. And the Are we good? Okay, sorry.
You can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. You can pay your utilities. You can pay so 60% must be paid to yourself, which is great. Or all of it could be paid to yourself. All right. But if you have like booth rent, if you have like a space that you're leasing, you can use some of that money to pay your lease. You can pay your utilities. So as long as you use the funding to pay those things, then guess what, guys? In about when you finally exhaust that money, you can actually apply to have it forgiven. So, you know, so that's why I say I can't say that it's free money, but if you use it what it's supposed to be used for, then it technically is free money, right? Essentially, you don't pay any taxes on the money. People say, oh, well, I know if they give it to us, we're going to have to pay taxes on the money. None of the PPP money is taxable. Hey, and even if, I like to throw this out there too, the devil's advocate piece of it, even if, let's just say you got the money and you use it for something other than what it was earmarked to be used for, then, and if it can't be forgiven, right, it's a 1% loan. So even if you say, man, listen, 1%, it's a 1% loan over 5 years. So even if you can't get it forgiven, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say you had to buy a new truck for your business, which is not what the money's supposed to be used for, right? So when you get into that, you know, they'll say, well, you know, you don't apply for the forgiveness, so now we're just going to roll it into a loan, and it's a loan at 1%. So, which at the end of the day is still not a bad deal, right? But let's just try to comply. And so what we do is we just make sure that our clients, from an accounting bookkeeping standpoint, is in line to have it forgiven, you know, and to make sure the money is used for what it needs to be used for. So that way you won't even have to worry about whether or not it's going to be forgiven.
You know what? Like I say, my industry, we don't know. We would have never known this was available to us. I didn't know. I didn't know because, you know, when we think, like I said, looking back on that first round and how those monies were distributed, we were left out.
Wow.
It seems like they're more intentional about the small business owners this time around.
Most definitely. And you know what, Tamara, it's funny because the first time around, it was the exact same. It was just, you know, everybody was trying to figure out, okay, what exactly is it? You know, you had us accountants, you know, we scrambling, trying to say, okay, well, how can we get this money to our clients? You having the bank saying, okay. And so everybody's scrambling. You got these stimulus bills being passed. You know, the world is going crazy. You got the pandemic going on. So really, that's why I say the rules were the exact same. A lot of people, we just didn't know. The information just wasn't there. So, for example, you had the Are we back?
Yes.
Sorry. I'm on my phone, so I'm getting calls coming in. So my apologies. I need to jump on my laptop. My apologies. So you got to think, you had the LA Lakers, right? Is a small business because the rule is you have to have 300 employees or less, right? So the LA Lakers got the PPP. Think about that. You know what I mean? So of course they knew about it. You had Ruth Chris getting it. You got all these bigger entities getting it, but the barber could have gotten it. The nail salon, you know what I'm saying? The hairstylist could have also gotten it. You know, we just didn't know. And so a lot of people missed out on it. So we made it our mission for the second time around to make sure that, you know, our people are in play and in line to get the funding. And even now, it's been out, it's 2 weeks. I think it was like 285 million roughly or so that's in this PPP pot. And that money is diminishing. So I would say apply, you know, make sure you apply. Make sure you get in line, regardless of how much you're going to get, even if you get $1,000, right? And if you can have it forgiven, that helps.
Let's see if we got any questions. She says that's crazy because, like I said, this industry we don't know. We didn't know, and this money has literally passed us by as beauty and barber professionals. Give us your website, Al. Let me put that on the screen. And Danielle, I'm gonna let you jump in because I'm sure you have questions.
Sure. Yes. Yep. Website is www.agibbsassociates.com. Mr. Al, excuse me 1 second. Just a second.
www.A Gibbs Associates. I think he said .com. Yeah.
Just a second.
We'll bring him back in just a minute, y'all. But just, like I said, just to know that we don't, our industry, we're always left in the dark. Danielle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. We'll
Okay,
be back
perfect.
in just a minute.
Oh, no problem.
But yeah, I was saying we're always left in the dark. It's so much that we don't know that's happening, in policy, in politics, and in our pockets.
Oh, absolutely.
That could be, this money could be in our pockets.
Absolutely. And just having a full understanding of, that it can be forgiven, but even if you don't meet that criteria, the interest rates are really low. So I think that, really makes people a little bit more comfortable to even apply. Because like you said, a lot of us don't even know this money is available or that we would qualify for it. So this is really awesome that, you put this together, Tamara, for him to come on and really just educate us, about the PPP loans. Because they're, most of the other businesses, small businesses and corporations, they know exactly what to do. And they are getting, they're getting the funding.
And yeah, and they're taking it off the top. So whatever is in the pot, these bigger corporations, these bigger businesses are getting what they need. We got to jump in there and take advantage of this.
Absolutely. And like he said, you got to strike while the iron's hot because that money is dwindling down.
And it's going to run out. It's definitely going to run out. Okay, I think he is back. Let's bring him back on, and then we'll Danielle, you and I'll close it out. But Al, I put your website on the screen. It is agibbsassociates.com.
Yes.
This is a trusted source. I can tell you personally, he has been a savior for me for many, many, many years. He has taken care of me and my family. So he is a trusted source. And like I said, this was monies that I didn't know was available to us as beauty and barber professionals who are solopreneurs, who don't have big businesses, who are working alone and independently. There is money for you.
That's right. And it's available. So apply. I even had clients that reached out and was like, hey, man, I really don't need the money. Do you think I should apply? I'm like, listen, we know us in business, and it's difficult, even when things are good, to get access to capital. Right. So I told him, I was like, listen, just apply. The money's available. Like, this money is earmarked for you as a small business, whether you have W-2 employees or not. You can apply, you can get funded. So I tell everybody, listen, just apply, because the money's available, and it's available until it runs dry.
I have a question, Mr. Gibbs. I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing such valuable information. Thank you.
No,
but I have a question. So I actually was approved for the first round of the PPP.
Okay.
What is it possible for me to be eligible for this round of it?
Absolutely. I was just getting ready to say that. And so this time they rolled it around because this is second wave. So if you've never applied, you can apply now for what they call the first round of PPP. If you received PPP prior, then now you apply for the second round.
We have a question. She said, what about those of us who have a good credit score but high utilization? She says, I was denied because my utilization was high, but it was high because I had just opened a new business in November of 2019.
No, great question. And I missed her name. I'm sorry. I was looking at that.
Nakia. Hey, Nakia. Been knowing her for a long time.
Hey, awesome. Hey, great question. Now, so here's the thing, Nakia, and I think, so PPP credit score doesn't even come into factor. All right. So, but I think you're talking about, though, the EIDL, which is the economic injury disaster loan. Now, that one is also another loan that was put out, and it does. I think the credit score limit on that, the FICO score, I think it was at 630. If I'm not mistaken. Now, that one is a loan, though. You know what I mean? And so they'll loan you that, which is still great. I think the terms on that loan is 3% over 30 years. Like, again, where do you get those type of terms for business funding? So if you're worried about credit score, maybe you're thinking about the EIDL loan. But also in conjunction with that, make sure that make sure that you apply for the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program.
We have another question. She says, so the PPP.
Now, how would we apply for that? Yes.
We'll give it. Let's grab it. I'm gonna come back to you real quick, Danielle. She says, so the PPP will not be like the pandemic unemployment where we receive a 1099. How do you apply for the forgiveness?
Great question. No, it is not. It is not like that. Unemployment money is taxable income, so of course you're going to receive a 1099-G for that. The PPP is not. The PPP is actually a loan. So when they initially distribute the funds to you, you actually receiving a loan. When you utilize the funding for what it's designed to be used for, then you go back. Now to answer your question, then you go back and apply for the forgiveness. So if you've already applied for PPP, you can go back to that source and they can assist you with the forgiveness. Or if you need us to assist you with that, we can. But all you have to do is apply. So I guess that's the answer. You have to apply for it. So they don't automatically forgive the loan. You have to go back and request and apply for the forgiveness. So just please be sure about that.
This is Rhonda. She says, I know a lot of colleagues applied and got PPP and SBA grants and loans, including myself. Good, Rhonda. Rhonda's local too, Al.
Awesome. No, Ms. Rhonda, that is great. That is great. And and that's the hope, that because that's why the money was put in that bill. Like, and I think, Tamara and I was talking about this the other day, like, when they talk stimulus, like if you really look at like that dollar amount that's in those bills, and I think I'll say the average citizen, we're more so focused on the $1,200 checks, which I'm not knocking that. That's, I'm saying, like, that's a big help to a lot of households. But the other monies that was in that bill was to small businesses, to you, to me, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, definitely take advantage of it. So I'm glad to hear that.
Danielle, you want to jump in this last question? I know Al has to go and I wanted to keep it right at the half-hour mark.
Yes, absolutely.
Ahead, Danielle.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just in case people weren't sure where to apply, I wanted to ask where can we apply for the funding?
You can go if you want to take it on yourself. You can go straight to the SBA.gov website. If you need us to assist you, you can actually go and request like a free consultation directly through that website link. And we just try to streamline it for our clients just to make sure, because a lot of times it can, you can get kind of caught under the paperwork, especially if you don't know what you're doing. You know how it goes. So, it's almost like, we kind of liken it into doing a tax return. Some people can do their own tax returns. Some people say, hey, I don't want to mess with it. So, I won't say it's anything that's like crazy hard to do, but, I want you to make sure that you know what you're doing if you're going to take it on yourself, because if you apply for it and it gets denied, you're losing days, you're losing time, which means that pot is diminishing. So we know that when we send it in, we kind of know, because we've been around it now 2 rounds, so we know exactly what to send in and exactly how to keep those approval rates high.
Yeah, I would encourage anybody to use a professional. Al knows I don't touch this stuff. I don't want to do it. I don't care about doing it. I'm like, take care of this because I don't do this.
Oh my! But no,
no questions, Al, and we'll let you go.
And I'm good, Tamara. So I want to make sure everybody get their questions answered too. Does it matter which resource you use to apply? For example, Navy Fed is my business bank, and they say they are offering it. And if I choose it, so some of the big banks are offering it. If you have a good relationship there. Now, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Like, so this is new, right? Like PPP is new, although this is second round is new. Like your typical bankers, even accountants, like none of us knew PPP was coming. Like none of us knew the pandemic was coming. None of us knew PPP was coming. So we all had to learn it. We all, even as us professionals, we all had learning curves. Like we've never had this before. So I just spoke with one of my clients who was actually, she's actually one of our business tax clients. She went to her bank to get PPP done. And the banker calls me asking me questions. It's almost like somebody asking you a question when you're in the same industry and you're almost saying, well, how are you doing this if you asking me this question? Like, you know, Tamara, how would you file the nail if such and you're like, well, hold on now, if you're, you know what I mean? It was that type of, and not knocking anybody, because we all, I'm not saying because I'm a professional in my industry, quote unquote, that I know everything. So there are some things that I will reach out to people and ask, but y'all know what I'm saying. There's certain things you're like, well, man, how you helping if you don't even know? You know, she was asking me, okay, what income should I use? I was like, it's only one line. Like the guidelines are there. You use line 31 on the Schedule C for the income. And she was like, well, I'm trying to see. And I was like, well, no, ma'am, that doesn't even matter. You know, so I said all that to say, if you have a good relationship with your banker at the bank, and this is not a sales pitch or anything like that, but just, and you all are professional, like, you know, when you're sitting in front of somebody, even if it's something that you don't deal with, you know, that, well, I don't know if he, you know, if she's telling me the right thing, if he's telling me the right thing. So, but the banks are doing it. They do have people that are helping because they do get paid to do it. So, of course, they tapping into it as well. Nakia. Now, great question, Miss Rhonda. I see that. So if I'm waiting on my unemployment, can I still apply for the PPP? Wow, that is a great area question, because now from the unemployment guidelines, I think it speaks to you have not been paid from any other source. You know what I mean? Like as you go through and you answer those questions when you're filling out the unemployment, it asks you, have you received any, you know, because this, if you got PPP, it would be sort of considered money that you got paid. Now, do I know people? I mean, I've just had a couple people say, hey, man, listen, you know, it was rough. I applied for unemployment and the PPP. You know what I mean? Now, you know, and just like you guys in your professions, you know, we learn a lot, of course, from our schooling and everything like that. But the majority of us learn what we learn per our experiences, right? So this is new. This is new. And I tell clients, like, I'm not sure how they're going to, you know, if they're going to audit that. I'm not sure, you know, if those two paths will ever cross. So, you know, my personal judgment would probably say stand clear of PPP if you're going to do unemployment, just because, you know, when you read through that, it would be sort of misleading to kind of get both, right? But, you know, that's the information I put out there. You know, definitely take it as you will. I understand, but I don't know how those two will cross on the back end, and if they ever cross, as far as the PPP and unemployment.
She said, thank you. So I just want to say, like I say, I appreciate you. He's been my personal accountant for many years. He's taken care of me and my family for forever.
I'm telling you.
Guy. He is my go-to guy. And if you need some support, he is at agibbsandassociates.com. That's agibbsandassociates.com. If you don't have information, you can reach out to me. I'll definitely send it to you. But you know, we these are resources that are available to us as beauty and barber professionals, as independent contractors, as solopreneurs that you didn't know were available, because I did not know at all. So I want to be sure that we bring someone that was knowledgeable to the table to share this information and to be a resource to you if you guys need it. So yeah. I know you got a busy day and a busy morning. I want to thank you for taking time out. She has one more question before I let you go, and then I'll let you go.
No, you're good.
I'm in the first round, but wasn't given PPP. I'm now back to work, but want to apply for PPP. Is that okay?
Yeah, Miss Nakia, I think that's fine. Yeah, because I'm actually working with the client sort of in that same space. So I think that's fine. I think that is totally fine. I just, you know, I think the initial question is that, you know, just kind of getting both. Because even the guy, one of my clients I talked to, he was like, man, you know, I know it may not have been right, but I was just kind of in a hard spot. I needed the money. So I just applied for them both. You know, so, but yeah, to your point, I think that's fine. I don't think there's a gray area there. So I would definitely say, definitely apply. If you hadn't applied for the PPP, you know, please apply. If your business has been affected, round two, I'll speak to this.
Can we hear you?
All right, sorry. So round two, the only qualification different is your business. You have to have had a 25% reduction in your income for one quarter versus your 2019 quarter. So for an example, let's just say if you made $10,000 in the first quarter of 2019. So the first quarter is January, February, March. All right. So the rule to get funded for round two is that, okay, well, then your first quarter of 2020 needs to at least, you could have only made $7,500, which is a 25% reduction. So that's the only new rule to it. If you're going to get the second round, because what they're saying is, okay, well, if you get the second round, at least in one of the 4 quarters out of the year, you choose, but one of them one of them has to show a 25% reduction in gross income. You choose the quarter and you compare it to that same quarter of 2019. All right. So that's not, that's not a, that's not a hard thing. I mean, you would say, well, how do I know that? I mean, really, you can just go back like basic accounting. Just look at your bank statements. Look at your bank statements from, either April through June or July through September of 2020 versus the same time span of 2019. Add your deposits up, your square deposits, whatever you use to track your income, and just see if there's a 25% reduction, and just do it for each quarter of 2020 to find it. If it was, if the reduction was there.
I'm sure it was there. Most people did not make the money that they made in the previous year in 2020. So
right.
Be there for everybody.
It should be there for everybody.
Shut us down, everybody stopped.
That's right. And hey, guys, get this. If you hadn't applied for either, you still can apply for round 1 and round 2. All right. So even if you didn't apply for round 1 back in May when it first rolled out, you can apply for round 1, get funded, and then go back and apply for round 2. And I would definitely suggest doing so again before the pot runs dry.
One last question. She says she's in Maryland. Do you service clients out of state? We're being as digital and virtual as we are. I know that answer.
Absolutely. Yeah, because but we do. We have tax clients, all over the states. Even we have clients that's in Iraq and where's the other one? He's in Afghanistan or something. But yeah, so to answer your question, definitely we can assist from wherever you are. And like Tamara said, with technology, man, it has made our business it's expanded our reach, I'll say.
Danielle, want to close us out? Danielle.
I'm sorry. I'm having the worst internet connection. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. I just want to thank you again, Mr. Gibbs, for coming on and blessing us this morning with all this valuable information. It has been greatly, greatly appreciated. And Tamara, as always, thank you for, doing what you do, sister, and standing firm and strong for the industry. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you would like to get more information from us, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And you can inbox Politics Beauty, or you can go to our website. And thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Mr. Al, thank you. And I will be talking to you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you all. Y'all take care.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.